Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with Alliance War Season 54 number 9, and AOH has matched up against MOFW. So going into this war, we were, I think, Masters place like 14 or something like that, or 15, and this alliance was one rank above us, literally one rank above us. And due to the way that the matchups worked out, if we won this war, we get top 10. The winner of this war between the two of us gets top 10, and the loser gets platinum 1. So neither of us can make the bottom bracket of Masters. One of us goes up, the other goes down. There is no in between. So we know that we have to be on our A game. We have to do our absolute best here. And I have another Stealthy war. We have 6 fights this war. We have 5 with Stealthy, 1 with Shocker, and this fight, not super interesting. Darkhawk. I believe I've actually taken Darkhawk on this exact node 2 wars ago. And yeah, the node's still bugged. Debuff immunity will never trigger. Which is weird because I was watching Grass's video, a guy in my alliance, and for him it did trigger. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. But all I know is that for me, the last 3 times, and actually this makes it the 4th time in a row that I've taken a debuff immunity node, either node 5 or node 38, that it has never triggered. So that's just my experience with it. Here we have America Chavez. So America Chavez on heavy hitter makes sense, but unfortunately slow shuts her down, in addition to the attacker tactic. Excuse me, had the yawn. The attacker tactic withers remove her dimensions because that's like a weakness built into her kit, the same way that slow or petrify prevents Doom's aura, the same kind of thing there. But yeah, throw the L1, just gonna bait L1s. We are going to be able to take care of the Mystic Dispersion with the withers, so nothing to worry about here. As long as she throws L1, she's going to go down. This is a 7-star rank 3, so she does have a good amount of health. So this fight is taking quite a bit longer, and she's also not exactly playing into me super well, but very easy matchup. There was only one fight this war that I was even slightly worried about, and you'll see that when we get to it. But yeah, Chavez goes down really, really easily. And let's go to our section 2, which I believe is path 8, if I recall. Yeah, it is path 8. Also, I was the last one to clear in my BG. So I'm clearing, even though the war is not even half over, I was the last one to clear. And if I solo all my fights, we have a donut. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But we have the Shuri on a diversity node, but this Shuri is actually going to be extremely annoying and take off as much health as she possibly can through block damage by just outright refusing to throw heavies, because I'm trying to remove her armor up so that my hits hit harder, and she just says no, and she's going to be ending combos into my block basically the whole fight. We do obviously have Mist to take care of her phase, so that's why I wanted to bait the heavies. Like, as of right here, basically I want to be baiting heavies the rest of the fight. And she's just not going to like that idea. As you can see right here, I bait out the L1. We're going to partial dex the end of it. So that, well, excuse me, so that we can counter it. But there's one fall 5 hit combo into my block. There's another ending combo into my block. And this is just not going well. She's taking off so much health. I'm not even going to get hit in this fight, and I think I'm going to lose 40% of my health. It's just absolutely ridiculous what the AI was doing here. Like, I'm at 60% right now. And here I'm going to throw my L2 to put a longer slow on. But at this point, I knew that a combo would kill, so we're just going to go for it. But Shuri just definitely made that as hard as it could possibly be on me there. Here, Wiccan can't gain buffs really, and even if he could, they would get shut down by the withers on this node. So not really anything going on here. It's just a tactic champion, and I mean, to be fair, most tactic champions could have taken Shuri, so it's not even path splitting, really. I could have taken that fight with Shocker or even Scorpion pretty easily, because my Scorpion is ranked up. I just don't use him because I don't like his kit personally. But yeah, Wiccan, pretty easy, not too difficult here. One funny thing is going to happen in this fight. I'm actually going to get parried countering the L1, which is not something that has ever happened to me against Wiccan. I've fought him a decent amount, and I've countered his L1 the exact same way every single time, and in the moment, it did not feel like I was countering late, and I got parried. Now, watching back the video, I'm like, oh yeah, I was a split second late. Like, obviously. Just a tiny bit late. But in the moment, it really didn't feel like it. It felt like I was absolutely on top of it and countering instantly. So I was really confused as to why I got parried. But it didn't end up happening for the rest of the fight. So we are good. We're going to just strike her into a combo here, and the fight goes down very easily. So, full health finish, even though I got parried and took a couple hits. Going on to our next ones, we have two minis this war. We have this Node 38 Onslaught and then Node 49 Mysterio. So Onslaught is the fight that I brought Shocker for. I was originally talking with my officer about bringing Silk and taking Node 39 Bishop, and someone else would take this Onslaught. But I said to my officer, hey, I'm really good at fighting Onslaught, so can you just assign him to me and assign Bishop to another Silk? And he said yes, which was amazing, because Onslaught is a defender we have died to before, so I just want to be careful, and I know there's 0% chance I will die to him. One thing I'm going to do in this fight is I'm actually not going to throw a second L1. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit back and let him gain prowess. Because my Shocker is duped, I'm gaining 3 charges every single time he activates a prowess. So I'm going to wait until I'm at about 90, and then I'm just going to combo him, and he's just going to go down. Because we are removing prowess. We are also gaining prowess whenever he gets it, like right here. I'm charging heavy, and my prowess, the prowess activations are putting my charges up. So that was actually more than a 100 charge heavy, because it just constantly was building up while I was charging heavy. So yeah, only baited 1 L1 from Onslaught. Absolutely flawless fight. That is the best I've ever fought Onslaught. Now obviously it does work with the node and you are taking advantage of it. It's not something you can do consistently everywhere, but it was pretty cool to do that. And obviously we threw on an L1 boost for that fight. And here I'm going to throw on a 12% skill boost. I've seen people dying this season, even to this node, with 1% health left. And even though it only affects my L1 at the very start of the fight, I thought, you know what? Why not throw on a skill boost? Because why not? Not going to start off the greatest to this one, losing a bit of health at the start, but this one's going to go fine. I mean, I've taken Mysterio on this node so many times. In fact, out of the 9 wars this season, I took node 49 7 times. One time, I didn't take it because Suida wanted to try this Mysterio with Arcus, and he did solo it. And the other time, it's because they placed a bullseye on this node, and we ended up sending Sunspot who soloed. But of those 7 times that I took this node, 5 of them were Mysterio, 2 of them were Prowler. And funny thing is, the times Prowler was placed was actually in back-to-back wars. Personally, I don't really understand Prowler for this node, especially because as a defender, he's supposed to take advantage of the attacker throwing special attacks while you have power, which doesn't happen with Stealthy, who is, in my opinion, the best counter to this fight. But yeah, it's very easy. I just need to make one more special, and I know he's going to go down. But I ended up just countering a heavy, because it can be a little bit dangerous if you're not fast enough to counter the heavy, because you can have him throw a special because his heavy animation ends really fast. But if you are fast enough, it is 100% safe, and I had practiced it, so I knew he would not throw the special there. So that is going to be the end of my war, and as a battle group, we actually did... Is this the right one? No. sorry, as a battle group, we actually did very well, and we did have a Deathless clear. We were the first battle group to clear. In fact, of the first 60 fights cleared in the war, we were 50 of them. Like, we cleared our whole BG so early. And yeah, we did get our Deathless war, and that was our fourth Deathless war of the season as a battle group, which was really good. And I said in a previous video that our goal as a battle group was to clear with under one death average per war, and we actually did succeed in that. We only had 8 deaths total between all the members in our battle group. We had 3 guys with 2 and 2 guys with 1, or maybe it was 2 guys with 2, 4 guys with 1. It was one of those two. I don't exactly remember which, but yeah, very good season out of our battle group, and I'm very happy with how our battle group did. Let's get on to what happened in this war. So, we knew going into this war that the Monsters of War alliance was very controversial because they had been accused of cheating by multiple very, very top alliances. They matched alliances, and they would do fights that just seemed so sketchy, and basically it was consistent that every opponent they matched said, hey, these guys are cheating. And we heard that a lot. And an additional sketchy thing about them is the fact that no one knew anyone from this alliance. Like, there was no one in any of my chats. I tried. There was no one from this alliance. So they're probably just no-skill idiots that are cheating. So, as you can see, they started off the war not cheating. This is probably the average score that this alliance is capable of putting up with the skill level that they have without using cheats. 2 deaths in their first 19 fights. We saw this and we were like, okay, that's a really good start, but we still need to play well. And then they didn't die again. They went 131 fights straight without dying. You want to know the odds of that happening? I will put it in the description, and I will explain how I came to those numbers. The odds of dying twice in your first 19 fights and then not again is so insanely tiny that the only logical conclusion, unless this is a very, very top alliance who just had 2 crazy fluky deaths at the very start, the chance of that happening is microscopic. It's so small that the only logical thing to think is that they're cheating. So yeah, like I said, they didn't die again. So this is what the war looked like a little bit later, and I took the screenshot. And I was explaining to people in our alliance that I didn't think they would die again. They were in the same situation as us, and at this point it was not 100% clear that they were cheating, but there was allegations going around for sure. And we're losing on fight time. I believe at this point we had 64 seconds per fight on average, and they had 60, which is quite a big difference. 4 seconds per fight is actually pretty substantial when you add it together. And I pointed this out to the officers, and basically there ended up being a conversation between them where all remaining fights where it was even somewhat plausible, we would have to run full recoils for to speed up the fights. And unfortunately, what ended up happening is that caused some more deaths that would not have otherwise occurred. And we ended up dying an additional 2 times due to the recoils that we told our players they had to run, the players that had not cleared yet. And they did not die again. So they ended up finishing this war 150-2, and us 150-4, which would have been 2 without recoil, but we would have lost on fight time anyways, so it didn't actually make up a difference. It was worth the risk to try to make up the fight duration difference. And we were really upset. And then conversation about it kind of stopped for a little bit until the night after the war ended, when, unsurprisingly, this alliance got docked like crazy. And after the win, they fell into, I think it was like 8th place or 9th place, whatever it was. They were in top 10, and we did fall into Platinum 1. And they got docked, obviously, for cheating. And considering their turnaround in performance against us, it's purely logical for us to assume that they were also modding the entire war against us after the first 19 fights. They died twice the first 19 fights, and they said, oh my god, everyone turn on your mods. And again, this is speculation. This is purely speculative from my point. But we played well this season. I'm not going to say we didn't have our bad wars. The war against 4 Loki was really ugly. I think we died 14 times and they died once. But to be fair, even on our A game, that would have been a very difficult score to match, as our lowest death total this season was 3 if you ignore this war and what would have happened if we hadn't used recoils. But yeah, we otherwise performed very well. We at one point were, I think, 1-3 on the season, and then we proceeded to win our next 4 wars consecutively to get into a position to make top 10. And then we just get it stolen from us by modders. Because had we matched an alliance that was even with us, putting up 2 deaths, I'd say there's over a 90% chance we win that war. Because the only guys that are doing sub 2 deaths consistently are top 5 alliances. Sure, other alliances are capable of it, but again, that's why I said it's likely and not guaranteed. But I will say it's a very, very high chance that a 2-death war would have won us the war and guaranteed us top 10. So essentially, we just got top 10 stolen from us by modders. So we have been in contact with Kabam, and we have been talking to them about this and saying, like, you are the ones that banned them. We literally have proof that they are the only reason we did not make top 10. We deserve to be top 10. Because without this modding, we would have finished with a record of 6-3 very comfortably in top 10. So, I'm probably going to make another video going over all this stuff again, where I am far less calm than I am in this video. One of the officers in my alliance, Grass Knuckles, he already made a video about the same thing, so I recommend that you go check that out. It's on his channel. You can just search Grass MCOC and you'll find it. But yeah, let's talk about my stats. So as I said before, AOH did end with a record of 5-4, and our death total for me personally was 1 death. I lost my Deathless season to a diversity fight on a path, and I am just so embarrassed because it was such a bad death. But you know what? We go into next season. We know what we need to do. I'm soloing all the hard fights and I'm dying to the easy fights, which seems to be the story with me rather consistently, unfortunately. But I did take a total of 60 fights this season, and I soloed 59 of them, which was 59.3, or 59. 59 out of 60 is 98.33%. So that's still a pretty good solo rate. And I do end the season with a deathless streak of 23 fights that we carry into next season. So hopefully next season goes a little better and we can have a fun time and push for top 10 again. But if Kabam does not right the wrong and give us top 10 rewards, we will be very, very angry, to say the least. So that's going to be all for today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.